What is the cause of the UFO abduction syndrome? If you're like me, you're probably aware that people have been saying that extraterrestrial beings have been coming to our planet in UFO craft. In the 90s, they used to say that people are being abducted against their will, medical experiments are being performed on them. Nowadays, they say that the government is holding crashed UFOs and biologics, implying that aliens are killing humans and humans are killing other humans based upon this science fiction drama that's being put forward by David Grush, Leslie Klein, Ralph Blumenthal, and a handful of other people that are proponents of this really strong extraterrestrial abduction hypothesis. So, where does this come from? Well, I say that the UAP crash retrieval narratives of today go back to the UFO abduction syndrome narratives of the 1990s. So, what's the cause of that? Well, it is a publication by Mack, Hopkins, Jacobs, funded by Bigelow and Lichtenstein. If you're familiar with the UFO field and abduction, you know who these people are. These are big time abduction researchers. Bigelow has funded a lot of paranormal research and is the subject of the 2017 New York Times article. And the Prince of Liechtenstein has been a relatively hidden character in the role of in the unfolding of these narratives, but he's sort of behind the scenes and funding things. It appears in the early 90s. So I say this is the cause. This presentation is going to be look into that booklet a little bit, but then use that as a diving off point to explore what is the underlying phenomena beneath the UFO abduction syndrome. So we're going to look at unusual personal experiences. This is a presentation of D-SETI, the dream study of extraterrestrial intelligence. Thanks for being here. I'd invite you to like the video, to subscribe to this channel, or to comment below. I love receiving comments. Every couple of weeks, actually, I go through and I make sure I respond to most of the YouTube comments. And I love hearing from people who connect with me through my website as well. So you can go to dseti.org and connect with me and get a lot of this information. Now, this presentation is all about this document, Unusual Personal Experiences. I've gone through extensive research about who, when, and where, and why this document's important. So I just want to jump over here briefly to call out a few things, right? So here is the booklet that I say changed the UFO contact research experience. This is the booklet that defined alien abduction. This is the book that defined or programmed my nightmarish experiences of alien abduction in the 90s. So this one document, I say, is the cause of traumatizing, nightmarish fear I experienced regarding alien abduction notions, as well as the overlay of those mythologies, let's say, of alien abduction onto my own exotic dream phenomenon, that of sleep paralysis, out-of-body experience, entity visitation, and so on. This is the document that created my nightmares in the 1990s and beyond. It is really influential. So I just wanted to call this out because I was just so shocked that nobody is talking about this in detail. Everyone's talking about other things, but this has a really quiet power in the literature, primarily because it looks professional, it looks like science. It was conducted by the Roper Organization, presents data. It's published by the Bigelow Holding Corporation, and I'm just going to cover this briefly, right? So we've got commentary by John Mack. It introduces this text about the UFO syndrome report. It defines a clinical syndrome and it offers therapy recommendations. The definition was put forward by Bud Hopkins, David Jacobs, and Ron Westrom, two of which are PhDs, none of which are clinicians. They are offering a clinical definition of a syndrome based upon alien abduction notion, as well as therapy recommendations. So This is a really big deal. This all kind of interprets and contextualizes a pretty robust survey of about 6,000 people about unusual personal experiences. But everything beyond the Roper report actually is interpretation of data. And it's pretty bad interpretation of data, as noted by skeptics immediately afterward. But it comes to some wild conclusions. And it's really important to know that this report has been funded by two interested individuals. And will it, excuse me, this report has been funded by two interested individuals. That's Robert Bigelow and the Hans Adam II, Prince of Liechtenstein, who is still alive and a monarch. His son's now reigning the principality. But that's really important to know that these men are literally responsible for propagating this document, as they say, to nearly 100,000 psychiatrists, psychologists, and other mental health practitioners. Let me repeat this. This document, which appears to be a clinical definition of a syndrome and clinical recommendations for therapy involving hypnosis, as put forward by the like a head of Harvard psychiatry, John Mack, right? This contextualizes it and recommends it. Head of Harvard psychiatry. This document went to 100,000 individuals and it defined alien abduction syndrome. So now I keep coming back to this because John Mack introduces what he calls his four traumata, or the traumata having four dimensions. They're physically intrusive, it's traumatic, there's isolation that the experiencer undergoes. I argue against all of these traumata dimensions or whatever in my own work, but I just need to call it out. He writes, the fact that the trauma, whatever its source, is not over, i.e., abductees cannot prevent its recurrence or protect their children and other loved ones from its effects. I don't think that is a factual statement whatsoever, and I believe that you have capacity to change these experiences, to address their recurrence, to shift the quality of their experience. In fact, the data in the free survey suggests that most recurrence of these experiences lead to positive, spiritually responsible kind of viewpoints. So this is an absolutely false narrative, but it was propagated to 100,000 mental health practitioners, right? This in the Mack says, hey, why don't you read this book? And this book basically describes the UFO abduction syndrome as imagined by Hopkins and Jacobs, very negatively interpreted. They say 2% of the population around there is probably experiencing it. Look, there's a clinical definition, a history. This is wild, right? And so they communicate findings from the survey. So what they do is they look to indicators of what they call UFO abduction syndrome. What others might call is exotic dream phenomena or sleep paralysis or out-of-body experience. That's what the skeptical literature responded with immediately to these people. And if these people had done any amount of reading in transpersonal psychology, they would have been aware of those things. So this is rather unfortunate, if Hopkins had really read Robert Monroe's work, right? If he might be aware of something like this. They did not survey the literature before they came to these conclusions. They became overwhelmed by the sort of urban legend quality of these narratives and the fact that something appears to be happening that's very, very real. Anyways, so here they basically go through and they say, you know what? We know that nearly 1 in 5 adults have woken up paralyzed with a sense of a strange figure or presence in the room. That's a lot, 1 in 5. I actually believe those numbers. I believe these numbers because they come from a repeated survey. The numbers actually move. They conducted this survey 2 other times, and the numbers move about 2% points up and down throughout that. So it's not that significant. We've got 1 in 8 adults having missing time. We've got 1 in 10 adults experiencing actually flying, 1 in 12 seeing strange lights or balls of light in the room, and 1 in 12 adults discovering scars or body marks without remembering how or why they got there. That one fact is why I was actually looking at this document and reading it carefully, is because this appeared to be one of the major associations of body mark phenomena with abduction. And I was trying to figure out how and why this happened, and I realized I read that 100,000 mental health practitioners, and then they engaged like a series of conferences around the nation and lectures and stuff to propagate these findings. So the authors offer therapy recommendations, right? So this is their reference list. This is why I say it's pseudoscience, because we have 3 articles, number 6 are six references for this book, and it's a clinical syndrome, right? It's propagated to 100,000 mental health practitioners, saying 3% of our population is powerless victims, and yet the references for this are less than what is required of me in a final paper at my PhD program. And it wouldn't pass. There's not enough peer review, and it doesn't matter if there's not references in the subject. Cite some references for your methodologies, or do a literature review or something like that. I know because I asked Thomas E. Bullard about this. He suggested about 12 people read his report. So, I mean, that's just kind of wild. All right. So these are the findings, right? The indicators that they're looking at are like seeing a ghost, leaving a body, seeing a UFO, waking up paralyzed, feeling as if you're flying. It says the word trodent, which is pretty interesting. And knowing it has a secret meaning for you, that's allegedly a positive response bias test, going like, if you say yes to this, we're going to throw out the responses. I say it seems like a weird CIA MK Ultra code word stuff. And there's another one factoid here that's pretty interesting, that kind of goes like, what is actually happening with this document? So they say experiencing missing time, seeing balls of light, puzzling scars, as well as having seen either as a child or an adult a terrifying figure which may have been a monster, witch, devil, or some other evil figure in your bedroom or closet or somewhere else, or having vivid dreams about UFOs. Now we know about 5% of people have dreams about UFOs. 6.5% of people have dreams about aliens. This is from a typical dream survey. So I go, these are kind of pretty accurate. Prevalence rates of lucid dreaming as well as OB, go like that. That seems about right to me. So they have these overall findings. They boil it down to percentage rates and then multiply it out. But this is where I say gets really funny, is because they go, okay, so we did a little bit of analysis, and it turns out those people who have UFO abduction syndrome are also the movers and shakers of the world. They are the influential Americans. They are trendsetters. They make more money. They're better educated, and we just like them more than other people who aren't abducted. So why don't you identify with the abduction persona? I'm just kidding about that last point, but this is really kind of puzzling to me about that influential's identification, right? So then they have a bunch of charts. We can compare those charts with the 2 other experiences they had, right? So it just keeps going on. There's afterwards and stuff like that from Bigelow. Then you can mail in this card to participate in a future lecture. So, all right, let's get back to it. I want to then give some context, right? So I said, you know what, this is pretty interesting. This is now the subject of my final paper in school. It's a Subtle Energies Systems number 2 class. It's all about spiritual journeys through subtle bodies. This is where I'm exploring a lot of my notions around alien abduction, being out of body, and so on. So I basically cover what's going on with unusual personal experiences, my own personal experience exploring this matter. And then I talk about content analysis, which is a way of exploring dream content. And basically, This paper sets up me looking into the DreamWell Dream Dictionary. So let's get this a little bit bigger. DreamWell Dream Dictionary. So data-driven insights from 200,000 plus dreams. So we brought together dreams from social media, from academic databases, from our own app, and we're analyzing them using content analysis. And so we pick out emotions, events, characters, places, and dreams, right? You can learn all about dreaming at dictionary.dreamwellbewell.com. So I thought, wow, that's really interesting. I can use this to look into alien and UFO dreams. So it gives me a tag cloud, right? Alien invasion, there's craft, there's UFOs, spaceship, abducted, drones, aircraft, tentacles, right? So these are all things in UFO alien dreams. Then gives me a summary. This is a kind of unique chart or mandala for these. We see that fear is prevalent when compared with normal dreams, right? There's more disasters in dreams. There's less sex in alien and UFO dreams, right? Less sense of taste, more sense of vision, less presence of romantic partners, more presence of fantastic beings and insects, unnamed people, and strangers, right? Then there's lucid, weird, good dreams, more than normal, less than normal, bad dreams. So it goes through that and it says, you know what? 1.6% of dreams are actually about aliens and UFOs. It's relatively uncommon, but it's not that uncommon, and it sort of hits the prevalence rates, actually similar prevalence rates as UFO abduction syndrome. When we can get insight about this, like it breaks it down. There's more animals, more insects than usual, more fantastic beings, actually less strangers, less peers, less family members. Gives different things. There's more fear than usual, more fun than usual. How interesting is that? So more words related to transportation, natural places. So that's more disasters, right? There's more associated with lucid dreams, sleep paralysis, and weird dreams, and good dreams, actually. So it gives a lot of insight. So from there, I wanted to just really explore, right? What is this underlying phenomenon? Because people have been saying, people have been saying, right, like, oh, the alien abduction is just sleep paralysis or dreams, but I have never seen anyone really do a deep dive into the data behind sleep paralysis and out-of-body dreams and so on and so forth. So we did that. I asked my brother, who is doing a lot of the statistics here. This is based on work I've done for a decade. So we're really working together to elevate this dream dictionary for DreamWell, dreamwellbewell.com. It's an app. You can download it Play Store or App Store. But I wanted to just cover what I'm looking at. So I'm looking at, once again, I'm taking the unusual personal experiences indicator and going, how can I see these in dreams? So I'm thinking about these indicators, balls of light, feeling of flying, and so on. So I had my brother generate all these charts. He generated about 300 charts for me to look at specific word lists. So any dream that has a family character in it, an animal, a fantastic being, any dream we would determine as an exotic dream, and that comes from Faith and Krippner, that definition of exotic dreams. So that's like a visitation, healing, precognitive, out-of-body, false awakening, and so on. We are also looking at sleep paralysis dreams as a kind of subtype of exotic, alien and UFO dreams as a subtype of the sort of fantastic being dream, false awakening, and out of body. Those are subtypes of like the exotic dream phenomena. And then luminous bodies, that's ball of light, shining figure, and so forth. So this one chart gives the prevalence rates. We see about 43% of dreams have family in it, 1.6 dreams have alien in it, and 2.9% of dreams as presented to the internet are sleep paralysis dreams. Now we've got at DreamWell a paper coming up about all of this and about the dynamics, about why people are reporting extraordinary dreams more than just normal dreams. And so you have to take this analysis with a little bit of a grain of salt. So these are the dreams that people care about, not what academics care about. And these are the dreams people generally are sharing online with each other. We do include academic databases as a kind of control situation. So again, these are sort of probably, if you're going to sample someone's dreams, 100% of their dreams, the number of extraordinary dreams will be less because we believe people are more incentivized to share the stranger dreams. So of the dreams shared on the internet that we know about, 4.5% are exotic dreams. That is about half the rate that Faith and Krippner says are exotic, right? So that we're sort of in a ballpark. Visitation dreams in that paper are about 1%. So I go, we're pretty good in terms of the shape and size of this data right now. We're not really off the charts. So 1 in 60 dreams are about aliens and UFO, uncommon dream symbol. 1 in 5 are about aliens. It's a frequent, 1 in 5 dreams are about animals. So it's a very frequent dream symbol. 1 in 25 dreams are exotic dreams. So 1 in 2 dreams are about family. Isn't that beautiful? 1 in 6 are about fantastic beings. 1 in 7,000 are about luminous bodies. It's very rare, and it sort of breaks the analysis, we believe, because it's so rare. That the comparisons between this set of dreams and the whole set of dreams is sort of a little faulty because there's not enough data actually there. That's about, doing the math, it was like 300 or 800 dreams that we were looking at. Compared to 200,000 is a lot. 1 in 200 dreams are about alien out-of-body experiences. That includes words like astral projection. So it's a very uncommon symbol, but not as uncommon as luminous bodies. About 1 in 35 dreams are about sleep paralysis. Isn't that interesting? Right. So that prevalence rate actually 2 point some percent is like the prevalence rate or thereabouts of the UFO abduction syndrome. So there you go. There's a really strong congruence there in looking at the data right away. But we got a lot more. There's false awakening. So this is where you think you're awake, but you're not. So I added this in because I really wanted to ground this notion of, are you really seeing a fantastic creature in your closet, an evil figure, or perhaps are you in a false awakening dream? So given the prevalence rates of fantastic characters, about 6% of dreams or whatever. And this, you're like, well, yeah, actually, I could see that it may be plausible people are having false awakening and sleep paralysis experience dreams. Like there's evidence here. This is good cause to say, hey, let's pump the brakes on extraterrestrial hypothesis and pump the gas on studying what our dream phenomena are actually telling us. Right. So let's talk about the language of these dreams. So the language, looking at the words in alien and UFO dreams, we've got alien, like alien invasion. That's a prevalent theme. The aliens are coming. There's gray aliens, alien ships, alien dreams, alien race. Right. Animal dreams, on the other hand, are like a creature, black cat, stuffed animal, black dog, fish tank, white cat, small dog. Language of exotic dreams. I like this one a lot. Sleep paralysis is huge for exotic dreams. That's the most prevalent type. False awakening, astral projection, and then at the end, we've got dream loop. And I just thought that was great because I wasn't even thinking about dream loops, but those have been highly prevalent in my own dream experience recently. Right. False awakening dreams, once again, those have a lot of looping in it. Family dreams, family member, little brother, mother, father, parents' house, etc. That makes sense to me. Language of fantastic beings. So we've got zombies, Grim Reaper, evil spirits, zombie-like, spirit guide, Resident Evil, alien invasion, zombies and zombies. So those are like, wow, zombies are pretty big here. We don't see alien. Well, we do see aliens as like zombie Grim Reaper and aliens, some spirits too. So luminous bodies, light orb. That's really what I'm looking for, or ball of light, or luminous person. So this is coming through. Um, I believe because these are really strongly, directly the words we're looking for in this word list. Out of body experience includes a lot of astral words. Um, Sleep paralysis includes a lot of sleep paralysis words, and this is just to build rapport with and trust with our system. Me presenting all these things. So now we have to talk about types of dreams. So what are the different types of dreams? So looking at alien UFO dreams, we have dreams with friendly interactions and aggressive interactions. Those are the most prevalent type of dreams as determined by our system. Fearful dreams, nightmares, lucid dreams, and then good dreams. So those are all the different types of dreams that we are saying are associated with alien abduction based on the language used in those UFO and alien dreams. All right. This kind of chart is central to the rest of the presentation. This gives a comparison between the alien and UFO dreams to all of our dreams. So we say, how do alien and UFO dreams differ from all dreams along these different dimensions? And so reading this chart, this is like a percentile comparison chart, basically, is we say that there's much more sleep paralysis and lucid dreaming in alien dreams than there is dreams in general. As well as there's more nightmares, but they're not as prevalent as sleep paralysis and lucid dreaming dreams in the alien UFO dreams. And then there's less recurrent dreams. So we have recurrent dreams that aren't about aliens and UFOs, and that's more prevalent in the all dreaming category. So this tells me that lucid dreams and sleep paralysis are two very important things that UFO dreams. All dreams versus animal dreams. So again, we have nightmare is the most prevalent situation for animals, then sleep paralysis, and then there's not that much lucidity, right? Compared to alien dreams, there's way more lucidity in those dreams than the alien dreams. So comparing with exotic dreams, all dreams, so sleep paralysis, lucid dream, and nightmare. And that sort of just makes a lot of sense because exotic dreams are primarily, it looks like, defined by sleep paralysis words. False awakening, right? Very similar to exotic dreams, that sort of experience, but then the rate of lucid dreaming jumps up, right? So there's a sense of lucidity coming into false awakening. You're becoming aware of the experience while families, again, nightmares and sleep paralysis. So these are prevalent. This is very similar to animals, right? Nightmares, sleep paralysis, lucid dreaming, recurring dreams. It's fantastic beings. Again, we're seeing this movement of the lucidity bar with these different things. Out of body experience, lucidity is primary, sleep paralysis secondary, nightmares not so much. So it sort of gives you a sense that false awakening, out of body, sleep paralysis, they're all dreams within a continuum. And if you're fearful, it's towards here. If you're confused about reality, it's towards there. But again, it's sort of existing within the same space. So we looked at characters. So comparing the alien UFO dreams, what are the characters in alien and UFO dreams versus all dreams? And fantastic beings, obviously, because they're defined by the alien category. Insects are big. Animals, unnamed people, strangers, families, friends, and then just romantic partners is associated more with all dreams as opposed to the alien and UFO dreams. Animals have, it's like all the categories are over towards animals. So there's more characters in animal dreams than normal dreams in general, right? Again, seems sort of more characters in exotic dreams than all dreams in general. This sort of makes sense. Insects and animals are primary. after fantastic beings and exotic dreams. False awakening, fantastic beings, but then you're dealing with family, then animals, then friends and coworkers, then unnamed people, and less about insects and strangers. Mm. So we've got fantastic beings. Again, there's more characters in there. Luminous beings. Again, that's similar. Out of body experience. Again, very similar. Having fantastic beings. Sleep paralysis. Again, that's pretty similar outline as to what's going on. Starting with fantastic beings, going into insects and animals. I mean, that is pretty interesting, right? When we compare, like, false awakenings do not involve insects, but out of body experiences do. Some more that could be something interesting to explore. Sleep paralysis has insects and animals as well. So, what's happening in these dreams? So, in alien dreams, there's disasters and eating and drinking, death, aggressive interactions, health events, and then friendly interactions, but less sex events than normal dreams. So, that's really important to know, David Jacobs. Pay attention to that, David Jacobs. Just kind of joking around, but everyone says in terms of there's this prevalence of sexual themes, and there is, but when we compare it to normal dreams, actually it shows there's more sex in normal dreams than alien and UFO dreams. Same thing with animals. Similar experience. Got eating and drinking as number one, right? Exotic dreams generally involve health events, right, at a really higher level. False awakening, once again, health events, less about disasters and sex. Isn't that interesting? Fantastic beings has, if you got a fantastic being, you've got more of these activities than typically not. So we still have this kind of pattern with the health events with an exotic dream experience. Emotions got fun and fear kind of equal for alien dreams, and then less hatred, right? Confusion is high up there too, and animal dreams actually have more fear, pain than fun. Confusion, grief, sorrow, love as at the end with animal dreams. Comparing all dreams with exotic dreams, once again, fear is number one. Pain and confusion are up there. Happiness is towards the middle. And then we've got grief and sadness associated more with all dreams. False awakening obviously has confusion, it looks like, as number one, and fear as number two. Fun is the third, right? So that's pretty interesting to me that confusion matches with the false awakening, which kind of confirms the analysis. Family has way more emotion than normal dreams, and primarily grief and sorrow and love are the top emotions. So this is, again, kind of confirming what you might expect from an analysis, but that's really good to see in the charts. Fear and fun, again, are primary for fantastic being dreams. Fusion's right in the middle. And then luminous beings, luminous bodies, grief and sorrow. This is looking more like the family to me, but again, the luminous bodies, word chart, there's not a lot responding. It's a very low rate of prevalence here. Out of body dreams, fun primarily, and then confusion, and then fear. So that's pretty interesting. So we've got confusion, fun, and fear really determining. There's more happiness, it looks like, too, in out of body dreams. Sleep paralysis, fear, pain, confusion, hatred, right? Fun is really down on the list, but it's still there, right? So that's important to note. Let's compare the events within the types of dreams. So if I compare what happens in alien dreams versus animal dreams, right? I know this chart, when I look at this chart, I go, only eating and drinking is associated more with animals than alien dreams. Everything else, particularly disasters, shows up in alien and UFO dreams. And that kind of confirms my understanding of UFO dreams, right? They bring There's a kind of alien invasion quality, maybe a cataclysm is happening, but they also involve simulations of environmental disasters. And basically the aliens say, what are you guys doing about this? Maybe you want some technology to help out with your environmental disasters and so on. So this really confirms it. Comparing exotic dreams and alien dreams, right? We've got sex and health events associated with exotic dreams, probably primarily because of the sleep paralysis, incubus, succubus type experience. But we've got disasters, again, associated with alien and UFO dreams. False awakening, alien and UFO dreams, same sort of thing as exotic. Family, that only involves more sex. Everything else is more prevalent in alien and UFO dreams. Fantastic beings. Here, fantastic beings are more associated with friendly interactions, death, and sex, health events, than the disasters and aggressive interactions. So when we're comparing aliens with all fantastic beings, it seems that the fantastic beings are more friendly, more concerned about sex and death and health than the aliens, who are more concerned about disasters and what might be interpreted as aggressive interactions. All right, luminous beings versus alien and UFOs. We've got a lot more sex in aliens and aggressive interactions, but then the luminous beings cares about health, friendly interactions, disasters, and death. Now, I once again will say that this comparison is probably going to shift as we get more and more reports about luminous beings in the database. Out-of-body experiences versus alien and UFO dreams. More disasters in alien and UFO dreams, aggressive interactions, and then we've got friendly interactions, sex, and health events with out-of-body experiences. So comparing that with what we know about fantastic beings and the exotic dreams, right? We see that it's the death moves over from the fantastic beings, right? So out of body is less about death than generally fantastic beings. So that's pretty interesting. That's good news for those who are afraid of dying in the astral realms. So sleep paralysis dreams versus alien abduction dreams, what happens in there? So basically, only health events are particularly unique to the sleep paralysis dreams when compared with alien and UFO dreams. Okay, so let's compare the themes. So what are the themes associated with these things? So here we've got exotic dreams versus alien and UFO dreams. So these kind of experience, I included this chart to show what we're looking at with exotic dreams. That's healing dreams, telepathy, out of body, false awakening, sleep paralysis, and precognitive dreams. All of those are much more prevalent in the exotic dream category, primarily because we're defining the exotic dream category by these word lists. So I wanted to show that chart here because this is intuitive, it makes sense based on what I know of the analysis. All right, so let's compare exotic dreams and alien and UFO dreams with aggressive interactions and dreams. So this is where it really showed me that we can find congruence between what we might expect of alien dreams and exotic dreams in the analysis. I know that alien invasions and themes of ecological warnings about disasters and stuff like that and kidnapping are all associated with aliens. I know that this sort of suffocation, possession, and strangling and a kind of space invasion is associated with incubus, succubus, and night hag archetypes associated with sleep paralysis dreams. That's the primary category of the exotic dreams. So this one chart says, hey, yeah, actually that folk wisdom, let's say that aliens are stealing bodies and destroying things and kidnapping, that's probably validated here. So comparing the characters in exotic dreams versus alien dreams. So we've got aliens and UFOs, Darth Vaders, apes and eels, right? Those are the prevalent characters, surprisingly, here. We've got fantastic characters like Dumbledore, Bilbo Baggins. Um, we've got butlers and bankers as well in Exotic Dreams. So I mean, because those charts aren't like we see the alien and UFO bars, and those are significantly more than Darth Vader. We go, okay, those are kind of general word lists that we see are active in that category, and I wouldn't make too much out of the butlers versus bankers and Sauron in this report. Looking at the emotions, alien and UFO dreams are amazed, sadness, grief, sorrow, surprise, and fun. But the exotic dreams involve numb, exhaustion, suffering, hatred, and regret. Right? Pretty interesting. Fantastic beings in alien dreams include aliens, UFOs, lizard people, mermaids, elves, right? And then in the other dreams are like grim reapers, luminous bodies, spirit switches, and centaurs. So that really kind of makes sense to me. Interestingly, we've got lizard people and mermaids more associated with alien and UFO dreams. Those are sort of like hybrids, which are common. That kind of tracks with our understanding of the characters from like the free survey, let's say. Friendly interactions, aliens, UFO dreams. So remember back here when I said primary aggressive interactions are like invading and destruction. Here we've got rescuing and saving. So those are also primary experiences. Let's see, that's about 150% is the chart there. But we've got 800% associated with invading. So there's a lot more invasion than rescuing in these alien and UFO dreams. Right? Exotic dreams have things like thinking, helping, smiling, embracing, answering. So the saving, rescuing, protecting are more primary in the UFO dreams. So that kind of gives you a sense that there is like drama and conflict happening in the alien and UFO dreams. All right, so let's just tune into the summaries. I know this has been a lot of data coming at you. And I just want to show you these mandalas now that you're sort of prepped to see these in a new light. You might realize that the charts we were looking at, the vertical charts, are now oriented around the circumference of this graphic. So this shows us the alien and UFO dreams as compared with all dreams. And so, again, we can take a look and we see, oh, yep, there's more fantastic beings, insects, and animals, less romantic partners, more about lucid dreams and less about recurrent dreams, more about fear, less about hatred, more about disasters, less about sex, more about natural places and transportation and less about work and school than typical dreams. So that gives us a quality of what are these alien and UFO dreams about. Animals we can see, right? They have a really different look to them, right? Primarily in the presence of characters, primarily in the reduction of the sleep paralysis, nightmare type situation with the animals. Right, so that's pretty interesting. We can keep going on to exotic dreams, and that looks really different, right? Right. The thing that sticks out to me is health events are prevalent, fear is prevalent, hearing is prevalent, lucid dreams, nightmares are prevalent, right? Wow. That difference of hearing, like that tells a story, right? These have less places too than these other things, right? The places are less important in exotic dreams, right? In fact, actually, we would say that people are less important in exotic dreams. It's more about the dream experience itself. It's more about the health events. And I would want to look into that word list. How did we define health events? Because that's a outlier for me. And so I would say that breathing might be a health event. Something like that is my guess. And so if there's a word about like quick breathing or something like that in the word list, that might be a cause for why that health event is really prevalent. But again, it's showing a focus on there. So that's my guess, is there's words about breathing in the exotic dream or something like that, or feeling the body. False awakening, right? So again, we have this sort of false awakening in exotic dreams, right? We have way more of the exotic dream categories, the lucid sleep paralysis and nightmares, health events, fear and confusion, right? Confusion, when we compare exotic dreams to false awakening, we can see confusion jump up. False awakenings involve way less characters, right? So that's pretty interesting to me. So if we can jump ahead to out of body and sleep paralysis, right? You can see that the they have way more fantastic characters than false awakening. So that's interesting to me. That shows that the out of body or sleep paralysis experience has a kind of relational quality that we're seeing in the data, relational to characters. This is an example of family dreams, right? Way different. This is way different. There's way more emotions and way more characters and way more interactions, right? And way more presence of home in the characters, and a lot less around these exotic sleep and sleep paralysis type phenomena, right? So isn't that cool? We can compare family and fantastic beings pretty equally, right? So we see, interestingly, like when we have fantastic beings, we have animals and insects primarily and strangers. Family is not as prevalent, right? That's almost the exact opposite with the family dream. So we're looking at two different dreaming types, right? The fantastic beings involve a lot more perception words. They involve less place words. They focus, I mean, there's sex and death is number 1 and 2 for family. Death and aggressive interactions and disasters are themes of interactions with fantastic beings. Fear is so prevalent. It goes from love is being the most prevalent emotion in the family experience to fear and everything, and dwarfs everything else, right? Isn't that? So we're starting to get insight and information from this. Again, here's the luminous bodies. This is another reason why we say this chart doesn't make a lot of sense. It's because there's just way more emotions and characters and magical places than other places. And so we need to really see and hone in this word list and get some more data to start making further conclusions. Here's the out of body experience versus sleep paralysis, right? So we've got fantastic beings out of body, health events out of body, hearing is really prevalent, magical places, lucid dreams, sleep paralysis, they're all associated there. Confusion, sleep paralysis, right? So it's similar, but again, this sort of moving towards fear, moving towards health events, engaging hearing. That's pretty interesting. Like hearing is so strong with the sleep paralysis event. And then the fantastic beings. All right, so I just want to offer some reflections right now, because we've been on this pretty cool journey. We went and looked into unusual personal experiences, and we kind of contemplated, okay, unusual personal experiences really did define the UFO abduction syndrome, but it also really did point to an underlying phenomena there that is undeniable, those prevalence rates. And let's actually turn back to that um, because I think it's really important. So we have where were we? Let's keep going back. So now that we know this feeling, right, of dreams, right? We've been on this journey together with dreams. We kind of know it pretty well now in terms of the prevalence rates, right? So we've got 50% of dreams about family, 1.6 about aliens and UFOs. Exotic dreams, about 4% of dreams were in our database, right? Then we can turn back to the prevalence rates of the unusual personal experiences and go, well, 1 in 5 has woken up with a sense of a strange figure presence in the room. And we go, okay, we know that would involve fear. We know that would involve confusion. We know that that would be similar to false awakening dreams. We know what those figures might be. We know what might they be doing now based on this analysis. right? The missing time indicator here, the prevalence rate, the 1 in 8 adults have had a period of missing time. Now, so this kind of blew my mind when I realized this, but the unremembered dream is actually a period of time where you can't remember how and why, right? It just is normal that we are forgetting about all these fantastic encounters. But actually, we're having 3 to 4 dreams a night and only remembering about 3 to 4 dreams a week. So where's that going? There's this feeling of 1 in 10 of people have actually felt flying. So we've got about 0.5% of dreams are about out of body experiences, right? Isn't that interesting? So we've got 1 in 12 that have seen unusual lights or balls of light. I sought to measure that through the luminous body word list, and that is like surprisingly rare, completely rare in the dream experience, right? So my hypothesis here is that these balls of light are something out there. They're actually non-human intelligences, and they move around, they're orbs, they're spirits. I'm not quite sure what, but they come and visit, and when they visit, there's this dream experience that arises. So I thought, let's look at that. Let's see, maybe people are actually dreaming of these balls of light, like these orbs and stuff like that. I have actually dreamt of balls of light visiting and things like that myself, but typically they kind of invoke the presence of a fantastic being. It's sort of the idea. That's the premise of unusual personal experiences, right? These orbs visit, these UFOs visit, and then you have a face-to-face or ET encounter. So in some way, there's, I would say that the alien abduction experience is a screen memory for a psychic event between an orb, a luminous body, and a human. That's my hypothesis now, but we'll see. I'm just seeing how it bears out, and so this may actually be some level of evidence, right, that the balls of light are effective dream shaman, right, meaning they can communicate through the dream perception of a character. Now, I'd love to see if I can get prevalence rates of actual orb visitations, right? Like not this sort of have seen once a lifetime prevalence rate. That's interesting, but actually, like, how many times do people see these things, and can we actually get a rate of how often they might be visiting? And if we can get that rate and compare it with a dream experience, then that might elucidate how powerful of a thing, these sort of screen memory, co-creative dreamscape thing that's happening and that is hypothesized to happen. Um, that hypothesis comes in part from Devereaux from 1982 in his Earthlights book. It's been tested a little bit. The idea is that Earth produces light, a plasma type being or entity or thing or phenomena like a ball lightning, and that has a magnetic effect on the brain that creates these dreamscapes. And then we've got 1 in 12 with puzzling scars on the body, and I don't know how to measure that in looking at the dreams, but I just wanted to share those prevalence rates again. So these sort of 1 in 10, 1 in 5 sort of experience to really conclude that around 3% of people have UFO abduction syndrome. I go, well, actually, if 0.5% of dreams are about out of body and false awakening and stuff like that, and the primary emotion of those is confusion and fear, right? We don't really know what's going on in unusual personal experiences. We don't know what's going on in the sleep paralysis, right? No one's looked at this much data at these topics, and that's why I'm doing that. This is a very initial work. So, well, thanks for being on this journey with me. Thanks for exploring the actual data underlying the unusual personal experiences. I hope that this presentation has shown you that these unusual personal experiences that were once cause for panic in the 1990s and outlandish hypotheses like alien abduction, these unusual personal experiences may actually simply be usual personal experiences given these prevalence rates and the um, universality of dreams. So rather than propagate fear rather than propagate the notion that you and your children will be abducted forever and there's nothing you can do about these dreams, I say that if you're experiencing fantastic visitations of entities in nighttime situations or situations that you perhaps are alone or perhaps have like been tranced out in or driving in a highway and you have these fantastic experiences, unusual experiences for you, just take a moment to reflect that perhaps there is a dream phenomena happening, right? Knowing the prevalence rates of these kind of gives us a baseline for understanding, right? Is that one visitation that you had from that alien in your dream unique among the world, and do you need to be like a UFO prophet or not, right? Like everyone has these encounters, it seems like, in their dreamscapes. So that is something that we need to bring to the table when we're talking about UAP crash retrievals and our ways of knowing about these UFOs, our ways of knowing about the interactions with non-human intelligences. There's been a lot of putting forward of personal testimony that's just stories. And the thing I'm saying as a dream scholar is dreams are oftentimes just stories. And so if we can compare knowing dreams and knowing dream phenomena with these extraordinary stories, we may get a sense as to how they're compare and how they're different. It can give us actual information just by looking at the stories themselves, not by going, hey, was there a physical being here? Let me test the residue from your panties, which is what David Jacobs eventually did and eventually discredited or embarrassed his legacy, right? Like he recommended chastity belts and stuff to his clients under hypnosis. It's just wild stuff, what you get to if you do not ground yourself in the actual phenomena that has been used to justify the UFO abduction syndrome. The actual phenomena underlying the UFO abduction syndrome looks to be like sleep paralysis, exotic dream phenomena, and perhaps extraordinary encounters, but generally probably through dream experiences. And I say that's just on the prevalence rates. Of course, we need to go in deeper research about specific abduction claims. I would say that Thomas Bullard did that very well in 1987. I would say that 1992 Unusual Personal Experiences just as a cheap repackaging of his work by people who were unqualified to do that repackaging. And they supported their lack of qualifications to the repackaging Thomas Bullard's work. So Thomas Bullard did a folklore study of 266 abduction reports, came to a lot of beautiful work, presented a lot of charts like this, and then was referenced in the Unusual Personal Experiences, but not very well, and by people who weren't qualified to make that clinical repackaging. But they said, hey, that's okay because we've got John Mack. Interestingly, Philip Klass did note that John Mack signed a $200,000 advance for his book Abduction before the publication of this Unusual Personal Experiences booklet. So we now start to have a clear understanding of the social causes related to the rise of the UFO abduction syndrome in the popular 1990s media dialogue around this, which I say is actually the cause for my traumatizing fear of alien abduction as a child. And as a practitioner, I am working and have worked with dozens of individuals who have also reported a traumatizing fear of alien abduction for which there is no physical evidence and for which they actually have no experience. They do have experience of extraordinary encounters in their dreamscapes, but they don't have physical alien abduction symptoms, and they don't have that phenomena. And it actually seems like a pseudoscience perpetuated by John Mack, Bud Hopkins, David Jacobs, Ron Westerholm, John Carpenter, and funded by Robert Bigelow and Hans Adam II, Prince of Liechtenstein. These people are responsible because they caused the UFO abduction syndrome, because they defined the UFO abduction syndrome and propagated it to at least 100,000 mental health practitioners in the early 90s, and used this report to go on a daytime TV news article kind of blitz around the media to elevate this notion as science. It's pseudoscience, and it was funded by extraordinary means. And those that whole cohort of people are working with the UFO crash retrieval narratives today. So that's why it's relevant. I love looking into these. I love looking into this. I love just seeing the data come up. And once again, if you want to, please do just check out. Let's get back to it. Don't forget, this is DreamWell. Dictionary.dreamwellbewell.com. You got a lot of good insight here. This is one of the best dream dictionaries I've ever encountered. And we do actually have interpretations through collaborations. I've written some. I'll invite you just to contemplate your own dreaming experience and your own authority as an interpreter. But it's a place to start. And then you can also just get DreamWell, which is our mobile app. And let me just pull that up so you know where that's at. You can get it from App Store and stuff. So you've got a whole bunch going on. It's a beautiful app. It's changed your life if you use it. Use it every day for 7 days. Remember your dreams, change your life. It would be really beautiful. And you'll be able to explore a lot of this stuff. So once again, thanks for being here. May you dream well.